What is up, guys, and welcome back once again to another episode of the Ebby Space Agency journey here on Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. We're here for episode number 33 then, and fresh off the back in episode 32 where we launched a brand new space station in orbit of Kerbin. That's right, we have our spaceport still as yet unnamed in low Kerbin orbit, and it's got its crew, it's got its power plant, it's got everything it needs to stay up for a prolonged period. So now we're going to be switching on to some more routine missions for this episode. We've got some orbital plane changes for various missions to do. We also have another relay sat we need to launch, and a couple of crew rotations. All in, we've got a few things to do today, but we won't necessarily be breaking any ground, no, not setting any records. To be fair. Now, before we get onto any of that, we are going to actually head up to the Isley Space Telescope, something we've not been to in a while, high up in very high orbit of Kerbin. This actually orbits outside the sort of range of Minmus, but we need to switch over to it there, as you see on screen, because we have a contract to take a picture of Gilly. We're going to do this just to try and supplement our finances after spending as much money as we did on the space station last episode. We need to try and recover the finances a little bit, right? And you see, we just fire off the data after taking the picture of the small moon around Eve before heading back to the Space Center and into the VAB. And this is for the next relay sat mission. So we're going to take the top one off. We only need to launch the one this time instead of the two. Remember last time we sent one to start the relay net up, and the other one to go out a bit further for the Nidon probe that's currently out in deep space. But we're going to head over to the launch pad now and see how the launch went. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and launch. Start a very, very early gravity turn here. That is so loud. And yeah, the launch itself went fairly well, you see, as we mess around with the volume settings so that I can maintain my eardrums in one piece throughout the stream. Those 3.75 meter parts absolutely making light work of the launch into space as we coast on up. Not a reusable booster stage. We are actually going to be using this to help push ourselves out to space just above Sarnas's orbital altitude there. You see we're setting up. Joule was kind of getting in the way, so we had to mess around with the actual maneuver node a little bit, but we eventually get there. We're once again aiming for that altitude of 130 billion meters above Kerbal, and yeah, we're gonna send this up. It's gonna take about another 6 years to get up to where we need it to be, where we're gonna circularize it out, and as it gets to its apex, its apoapsis, then obviously that's when we're going to launch the next one as well. Okay, so Sarnas roughly has about an orbital period of about 30 years, and 6 years apart. We want 5 in the network. That should hopefully equal out to 6 years apart. So that's what we're going to do there. As you see, we are setting the alarm for that now, as well as the maneuver node. But yeah, we're actually going to look a bit closer to home now as we go over to the Cyclops transfer ship. So the Duna 2 crew are currently en route back to Kerbin. You see there, we've got a node for the capture burn, 122 days in the future. And well, we're going to fast forward. We don't have anything really planned between then and now. But you do see we actually only just have enough like fuel to capture. We adjusted the burn there to try and circularize, and we are going to use every single meter per second of Delta V that we have on board this craft to bring ourselves to a stop. It's not going to be as nice and low as we'd like. It is going to have about a 250k apoapsis, so we are going to have to send a mission at some point up there to go collect the ship to bring it back down to the spaceport for sort of retrofitting, like refurbishment. But we don't need to wait that long to get the crew back. You see, as they perform their capture burn here, using every little drop of fuel in the tank. And yeah, it's not, yeah, we're not going to have to wait to collect the crew, all right? What we're actually going to do is we're going to go ahead and head over to the VAB, and for whatever reason, I don't know what's happened here, but once again, a craft file from my save has disappeared. I don't know if the game file's bugged or whatever, but we had a transfer, like a Minmus transfer crew ship, and it's disappeared. You see here, we're briefly looking to see if we can use the Nightingale rescue ship, which does remain, but there's nowhere near enough seats to collect all the crew. We have 6 crew to collect, so we're going to have to redesign our crew transfer ship. Now, what we're going to do is we're not making it just for low Kerbin orbit. We are going to make this capable of moving all the way to Minmus, landing and coming back, because we do have upcoming crew rotations for the mining base on the surface. So you see there, we're putting landing legs on. We've got plenty of life support, plenty of seats, and plenty of fuel. So very much over-designed for the mission that we're about to use this for, as we nickname it the Short Bus Crew Rotation Craft, yeah, we resave that, and yeah, I mean, it's light enough that we only need the one, well, for this mission at least, we only need the one booster on it. We don't need the external, the radial solid rocket boosters for this mission, so we are just going to stick the Scuffer Dreams booster, just the main reusable tower on the bottom of this, and we're going to wheel it out to the launch pad now. SAS on, full throttle, and let's go. Gear up. And let's go ahead, start that pitch over nice and early. And so the launch itself actually went okay in terms of getting off the pad. We used the gear there because it was light enough, so yeah, we take off, no issues there. But the problem is, because we've put the Twitch engines on the actual main craft itself there, as you see, we separate still inside the atmosphere out. We have to build as much horizontal momentum as we can using the main booster. This leads to a very shallow ascent profile, meaning that the actual Scuffer Dreams booster is only spending a few moments outside the atmosphere, right? So we have to get this circularized as quick as we can, which, given the very low thrust weight, is not really doable. And unfortunately, it leads to a bit of a disaster, as I'm going to hand you over to the live reaction for now. Oh, no! 27,000! Ah! Come on, come on, come on. Oh, Jesus! Yep. Oh, man. God damn. I tried. I tried. Oh well. We can recover the probe, I guess. That's something. So, yeah, unfortunately, because it took so long to get circularized with the actual craft itself, by the time we jumped down, it was already too deep in the atmosphere and just ripped itself apart due to aero forces. So that Scuffer Dreams booster is now lost. We're going to have to send a brand new one up if we want to use it again. Back up to the more successful side of the mission, shall we say. The actual transfer ship is in orbit safely and is now rendezvousing with the Cyclops transfer ship, ready to bring home our intrepid adventurers of Val and her crew. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and dock to the front of the ship. See there, we've got the docking port right at the front, so we're just going to bring ourselves in line. I didn't really fancy using the Lown Lazy method of docking. I just fancied actually manually docking this thing, so we went ahead and did that. It was fairly straightforward, right? It's just one port to another, so it's easy enough to do. And you see we start the lengthy process of transferring all the crew over. Yeah, we've got Val, Teal, Very, Staten, I think it was, and Gwenany. Kurt is obviously piloting the actual transfer ship himself, and yeah. So now what we're doing is we're stopping the ring. We're starting to close the ship down. You see we're deflating the ring there as well. Putting it in kind of like a stasis mode almost, just shutting everything down. Before we hop-tailed out of the lab, she's going to go ahead and grab all the experiments that we've stored across various parts of the ship. Just give everything a once-over. Make sure there's no issues with the craft before then floating on over to the hitchhiker module herself and taking her seat. Yeah, from there it's just a quick case of shutting everything down. You see we're closing down all the solar panels, the comms equipment, and more importantly, we're going to shut down the nuclear reactor that powers this ship, right? Because, well, we don't really want a nuclear reactor just running unassisted, supervised in space. I don't think that's going to go well for anyone involved. So we shut everything down and turn the lights off, and then we go ahead and decouple the transfer ship from the Cyclops. So this is going to remain in orbit until we can get a space tug up there, just to pull it down to where the spaceport actually is. From there, we're going to retrofit it a little bit, refuel, resupply, all that sort of stuff, and it will be used for the next Duna mission. So this is going to be fully reusable. From there, then, the Duna 2 crew, after 3 years in space, are finally staring home and, facing the rigors of re-entry. Probably more G-forces than they've felt in quite a while. And, they do re-enter, thankfully, without any further sort of calamity. No such aero dismantling from for the main craft, which is good. And, yeah, you see there, the parachutes deploy. And we touch down nice and, well, I'll say gently. It was about 7 meters per second. So it might be a bit jarring for them, but thankfully they are going to be able to walk away from it as we recover. And we head back over to the Space Center. You see we've gained about 4,000 science there, so absolutely raking in the science points. And, our crew have been very, very well rewarded in terms of experience. Val, Very, and Steldrin there are, thankfully, well, I say thankfully, they are now actually our most experienced crew. You see all the chest bling they've got there in the Final Frontier mod as well. But yeah, they are actually our 3 most experienced Kerbinauts in the program now, thanks to their trip to Ike. I think they've earned a bit of time off. As you see, we're just going to go ahead and spend our science points now. We take a few different nodes, so what we're going to take is some surface science tech, including a surface laboratory that we can use for future colony bases. We're also going to take some new advanced aircraft engines, so the space plane, the sort of fixed-wing aspect of the program, we'll be glad to see those arrive. And then finally, we're going to take some surface ISRU components and some VTOL engines. From here, then, we're heading over to basically decide who we're going to send. We have a crew rotation for the Mimbers surface base, so we just want to make sure we're sending the guys that weren't on the Duna mission. You know, we want to make sure that we're giving them ample rest. So you see here, we're sticking the SRBs onto the side of the short bus because it is going a little bit further, and we're going to go ahead and take Kurt, Steldrin, Jeanson, Sandwise, Cedrin, not Steldrin, and Tailed Kerman as our crew. And we're going to head over to the launch pad now. Ready to go. Staging looks good. Let's head on. Going to try and gravity turn as close to the ground as we can because the thrust weight is very high, and otherwise we'll end up just pointing straight up. And so the launch on this goes pretty much without a hitch. All right, we have enough thruster weight and enough delta V on board that we don't have to worry too much about the booster on this one. The short bus transfer ship is now en route with the next Minmus surface base crew rotation on board. That was a mouthful. The decouple, and like I said, we set up our burn. We're actually going to burn before we return the booster. The sort of pilot crew, shall we say, are Val and Steldrin. They are going to go ahead, and they're only driving the Uber. They're not necessarily getting off at the stop, right? So while they would like a bit more time off, I'm sure they are back in space just for a little bit before we then send them back home. The actual burn itself, fairly easy. We do end up getting a bit of a flyby from the Mun, but it won't play too much havoc with our course. And yeah, we get up there nice and easy. We get our interception with Minmus, and then we jump back down to the actual Scuffer Dreams booster, the main stack, right? And we start the process of re-entering that down onto Kerbin. We are going to show that we actually did succeed here. I feel like, since we failed on the last one, we have to reprove the concept. So I'm sure, obviously, that's what we're showing you guys now. Parachutes deploy nice and easy, and we touch down ever so gently into the water around Kerbin, and we recover the stack from there. From that point forwards, obviously the rotation ship is heading up to Minmus. We've done this a few times now, so I don't really feel like I need to beat around the bush too much trying to describe all this. I will say, with whatever's going on with the mods at the minute, we actually don't get the marker denoting where the base is, so we genuinely have to eyeball this, guys. So I was flicking in and out of map view very, very frequently here, and I got a bit distracted, and as you see, we nearly scuffed the landing, as thankfully the microgravity around Minmus allows us to correct that. I did forget to turn it off of retrograde mode for the for the SAS, and yeah, very nearly went badly. From here, then, we do the crew transfer from the base down to the ship. And again, like I said, we've done this a few times. I'm not going to show everyone moving, but yeah, Jeb and his guys take their seats in the crew transfer ship. And as yeah, Kurt and Jensen and all those guys head onto the base for their stint on the icy moon around Kerbin. We take a look then what heading we've got to take off from to get like home, and it turns out the best route was literally just to point up and hit the go button. As you see, we get a beautiful little Kerbin rise over the horizon there of some of the mountains. Yeah, we basically just pointed straight up and took off from there. We had enough Delta V to do so, and we set the sort of return altitude for 30,000 meters. It becomes a little bit more sort of apparent why later on, and yeah, unfortunately the re-entry was on the night side, but thankfully the Firefly mod absolutely saving the day for the visuals there, and we get something to look at. And the reason why I mentioned about the 30,000 meters is we have now discovered the minimum safe altitude we can re-enter from Minmus on, and that is at 30k, because I think we reached about 97% critical heating on that hitchhiker module on re-entry, so we definitely needed to give it a bit more of a safety margin, I think, but we have found our absolute right of arc, shall we say, on that. Back up to space then, we're in deep space, and we're actually heading over to the Nidon probe, so it has a plane change maneuver to ensure it intercepts with Nidon at a suitable altitude. You see we're making that burn there, and we kind of eyeball it once we get close enough, because, well, I mean, it's honestly, it's just easier to control. And you see there, we get nice and close, and then we're going to set up our capture burn. We actually get the capture burn set up so that we get an immediate sort of encounter with Thatmo, Nidon's moon, so easy enough. And exciting times. And you see there, we're checking the signal strength. So the messenger deep space relay is actually doing what we need it to do, keeping it in touch with Kerbin, because eventually it will exceed the range of those ground stations in Kerbin. And those deep space relays are absolutely going to be doing the Lord's work and keeping us in touch. Next up then, we're heading over to the Cerberus probe bus, which is on its way to Dres, and again, we're just doing, it's a fairly big plane change maneuver, but it's actually going to save us a lot of Delta V when we encounter Dres. We only need to basically spend a couple of hundred meters a second of Delta V to capture around Dres once we've made this. But we have another maneuver to make in about 2 years' time before we encounter Dres in 4 years' time. So we're just adding those those alarms now, and we head back to a very rainy Kerbal Space Center here, and well, we're going to be admiring the weather from the Volumetrics Clouds mod as we bring the episode to a close, guys. So we've had some stuff happen, you know, we've returned the Duna 2 crew, and we've done some plane changes for some missions in the future, but a lot of routine business, shall we say, in this episode. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, please do hit the like and subscribe button. Helps the channel a lot and gives me dopamine. Do leave your thoughts in the comment section below. You know, can I do anything better? Anything you would like to see? I still need suggestions for names for the spaceport, guys. So yeah, do drop those into the comment section as well. But for now, guys, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.